I mentioned to everybody briefly that you are my writing trainer, my coach. And I think about the word trainer because, when they do Olympics, they teach them how to peak at the Olympics. A coach may teach you for a season, but, it may take several years in order for you to have that Olympic-type performance. And my goal is to have an Olympic-type performance, mentally speaking, and you're my trainer helping me to get to that point. When did you know that you had the gift and the skill to help others bring out their genius, their creativity, their innovation?
My trainers were my grade school teachers. I was encouraged at a very young age to take my skill of communicating and help my peers. And I had a fourth grade teacher that let me do what I love. Bless Mrs. Haygarth. She saw that I had a talent for words, for writing, and for communicating. And so she put me in that position with my peers. It's one of the most brilliant things that trainers, teachers can do for us and that we can do for others, and that's just noticing, as I did with you, what someone is so good at, what someone excels at, and then giving them the lift, the support, the encouragement to reach even a higher level of excellence. That's intentional living.
The role of having an intentional mentor, whether real or imagined, why is it important to have a cloud of witnesses? Some people call it that, a kitchen cabinet. Why is it important to have the safety of the wisdom of others?
Because reinventing the wheel is, it's a waste of time. People have gone before us for centuries dealing with the exact same issues that we face in modern life. While technology has changed and our borders and the way we travel has changed, the human condition is very much the same as it has always been. Man's search for meaning is transcendent. So I know that you like to call it a cloud of witnesses, yes?
Yes, that's the term I use, cloud of witnesses or kitchen cabinet or Jesus had the disciples. I mean, there seems to always be a collective that you should have around your life, mentoring your mind. Because
I have been raised up in a business model, I call them my board of directors. And just like in a real organization, my board of directors, some of whom are living, some of whom are no longer with us, and one of them isn't actually real, but rather a fictional character. I know them well enough to be able to access their knowledge base and their wisdom at any given moment. So when I'm faced with something that puzzles me, I can say, like the famous bumper sticker that says, "What would Jesus do?" And that's a very good leader of wisdom to inquire after. I can ask also, what would Eleanor do? What would William do? And it lifts me out of my own perspective and puts me into a different space where I get broader perspective.
Now, besides being an extraordinary writer, coach, trainer, artist, you conduct workshops so that people can have a creative life, a balanced life. In today's book, we're going to be talking about Live with Intention, Rediscovering What We Deeply Know. I want to read the beginning of it. It says, live with intention, walk to the edge, listen hard, practice wellness, play with abandon, laugh, choose with no regret, continue to learn, appreciate your friends, do what you love, live as if this is all there is. That's a big mouthful. Rumor has it you developed that concept many years ago, and you decided now to put it in a book.
I did develop it many years ago, and it's actually been the basis for quite a bit of my work because it's my life mission statement. It's what I use as a measure for my actions, my activities, and my plans in life. So it's a very intimate and important part of how I do my days. And it is indeed the basis of my latest book, Live with Intention.
Now, many of us have 10 commandments, so it's obvious you have 10 chapters here. So let's deal with the first one, completion. Walk to the edge. What do you mean by that, Mary?
I mean, when you begin a project, begin it as if you intend to finish it. Interestingly enough, some people have a hard time starting, and some people have a hard time finishing. And walking to the edge means having the courage to envision the whole of the thing that you dream, not just the beginning part, not just how it feels in the middle, and not just rushing to the end, but taking the whole, encompassing the whole action, activity, or plan, and walking it to the edge of completion. It's a malady of modern life that we have so much going on and are doing so many different things that we live with the dissatisfaction of unfinished tasks all the time. It nags at us, and it becomes an unnecessary anxiety. I mean, start, begin, and finish. It's pretty simple.
You know, the other day that inspired a ponderation that I have that I just placed on Facebook. It says, "May you see the finish before you start, and may you never stop until you finish."
Oh, that's so good. Yeah.
Let's look at number 2, spirit. Listen hard. Why is it important that great minds know the power of effective listening?
I should be asking you that question, sir, but since you asked me, I'll tell you that listening hard means that you catch the nuance, see what others overlook, and truly hear the breadth of what is being presented or spoken or sung. When I want to truly listen hard, I often have a blank piece of paper in front of me and let my pen move, taking notes as I am listening to what the person is saying, because it gives me a double strike. It gives me the auditory input, and then it gives me the support of having my muscles move, capturing what I'm hearing as well. And it makes it easier for me to recall and truly understand what I've been listening to. And it also helps in that communication technique that people say is so effective. That's feedback. In other words, when someone's done speaking to you, you say, let me see if I understood you, or if I heard you correctly, you just said. And then you're able to give back to that person in your own vocabulary what you heard them say. That's listening hard.
Now, one of the things that I enjoyed about going through your book was the fact, and we're talking to the best-selling author of Live with Intention, Rediscovering What We Deeply Know, is the amount of skill that you had in placing. I feel like I was eating one wonderful great meal after another through this book in terms of the range of quotes, the comprehensiveness of it. I do know your core, but yet and still, you were able to pick so many wonderful quotes. Where did how do you develop time, or what is your schedule like when it comes to spending time studying the great minds that ever existed?
I spend the first few moments of every morning reading someone's great words. And in the month of January, for example, I selected Thomas Merton, the revered mystic of our last century. And every morning I would simply, not methodically, but just arbitrarily open one of Thomas's books and read a little bit and reflect and contemplate what he had to say. I also have a resource library of great thoughts, quotations. These nuggets are like the dark chocolate of the world of wisdom. They are condensed truth that are handed to you in a sentence or two, rather than reading what could turn into a whole book based on that little condensed nugget. It feels like getting I don't know, a mouthful of ripe cherries.
Yeah,
To use a food analogy.
Well, since that's a good analogy. You deal with the subject of dream or dreaming. Do what you love. Well, Mary, that sounds good. I'm doing what I love, but what I love to do, I ain't making no money from doing it. Help me out.
That is a conundrum that we all face, in fact. And the process of doing what you love, if it's not earning you any money and you're frustrated by it, it means that you need to have a sit-down chat with yourself, just as actually I've done so many times in my life, and reinvent the way you look at what you're doing. There are some people who have jobs, so they are earning income, but they hate what they do. And in that context, I just strongly encourage people to bring their toolkit of things that they're passionate about and that they love doing and find ways to fold that into their workday. And if you have something that you're passionate about, that you love doing, and you're not earning any money doing it, play a little with it. Treat it like a puzzle. Put all the pieces of your endeavor, what you long to accomplish, elements that you're good at, put them on the table like it's a puzzle and try to look at it differently. I've recently actually done this for my own enterprise and have come up with some really remarkable, fresh ideas and kind of a new way, a new model of doing business. Times change quickly, sir, as you and I know, and doing what you've always done for a decade or 5 years or 20 years doesn't necessarily fly in this context, in this economy, and in these technologies. So you have to open your eyes, listen hard, and look a little differently.
In our remaining 1 minute here, let's see, can we deal with generosity? Live as if this is all there is. Break that down for me in 1 minute.
If you have the opportunity in your hand to do good for another person, do it. If it's within your capacity to share, improve, gift, do it. Given the choice between not being generous and opening your hand in whatever capacity you are able, the choice is almost always better to lean toward generosity. It is said that the gift of a rose always leaves a fragrance on the hand that gives it. And that's so very true. Generosity improves my life and the life of the person who I am giving to.
The name of this best-selling book is entitled Live with Intention, Rediscovering What We Deeply Know. Give me a closing comment. Tell me how you get a copy of this extraordinary book. Let me know about any website, Facebook, etc., so we can be a part of your wonderful world.
Well, my closing thought would be hands open, facing upward, act on the impulse to give. Say thank you when easily gifted, recognizing that gifts are often things that cannot be held. And if you want to hold this book, you can order it from Amazon.com or MarianneRodmacher.com or get it at bookstores. And it's also available, if you don't want to hold it in your hand, you want to read it on a screen, you can order it as an ebook.
Well, thank you so very much. This will be featured over and over again at DrAlvin.com on Facebook, DrAlvin.com, the website, and now hopefully DrAlvin.com on YouTube. We're going to do an audio version of it and post it on YouTube. I love you, Mary. I thank God for you coming in my life and being a very important inspiration to me. Mm-hmm. You're the best, simply the best.
I think you're the best. It's a mutual admiration society. Keep writing and sharing your wisdom. It rocks.
Well, thank you so very much, and we'll get in contact with you so we can get back on the intellectual train, so you can continue to take me places I've never gone before, okay?
Okay. Bye now.
Love you, Mary.
Love you.
Bye-bye.